So I was struggling with this week's Torah portion, and I thought, well, the time has finally come 26 years into my rabbinate where I'm actually going to turn to AI to write a sermon. And so I started playing around. You know what AI is, right? Artificial intelligence. And now we are at this point where there are apps and there are websites that you can avail yourself of, and you can ask chatbots all different kinds of questions, and it turns out that they will actually write you an entire sermon on Ki Tisa, specifically for a congregation in San Francisco that's Reform, on a Friday night. And I thought, well, what has the world come to? And I was thinking so much when you were singing that beautiful song that you wrote from the words of Zelda, the poet, about how the world came into being and about creativity. And according to our story, according to the Torah, the world came into being by what? How was the world created? What did God do? Did God form it with God's hands? God spoke. God spoke. With sound, the world was created out of sound, out of God's creativity, out of wind, maybe sound waves. And I think a lot about where we're headed in terms of change and technology, and I don't really understand artificial intelligence at all, except I know it's on my phone, and I know if I ask it questions, it will spit things back out to me that seem very generic. And it makes me scared for the future because I don't understand it. And Cantor Addy has an incredible way, not only with music and creation, but she has a way of surrounding herself with brilliant musicians. Because that sound doesn't just come out of nowhere, it comes out of a very creative source, maybe the source of God and all creativity. And so Cantor Addy brought us this, who's been described as a genius fiddler. This nice Irish boy who came on the Bema a few months ago to wow us with his incredible talent as a musician. And he's here with us tonight, but he has enthralled audiences all over the world. He's taught at the Berklee School of Music. He's now featured in Cal performances because of something that I have brought him up here to talk to us about. It turns out that Cullum is not only a virtuoso violinist, but he's an expert in artificial intelligence. So, and you are going to be playing on St. Patrick's Day soon, aren't you?
I'm so glad you asked that question.
That's your holiday.
we can leave that till later.
Okay, we'll leave it till later, but we're all going to be invited to St. Patrick's Day to hear Cullum play.
Friday night, 8 o'clock.
Next Friday night, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
You're not going to be playing Jewish songs, though, are you? No.
We will, actually.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so next Friday, after service, at the Great Star Theatre in Chinatown, I'm having a St. Patrick's Day celebration in the Great Star Theatre. It's a 400-seater theatre, and it'd be nice to fill it. And yes, we will be playing some Jewish music. Actually.
Now,
yeah.
Here's the interesting thing is that I was going to say we're not your first Jews, are we? we're not Cullum's first Jewish experience, and Cullum is the director of growth at MURI, the Machine Intelligence Research Institute. The Machine Intelligence Research Institute. That's his day job. But what I wanted to talk to Cullum about tonight is this fusion of creativity, of music, and of artificial intelligence. And one of the things that I was looking at is that Cal Performances features a great talent each year, and in their program under Illuminations this year is called Human and Machine. And the person who was selected this year as the artist partner for Cal Performances is our own Cullum. And so I went and I looked under Illuminations to see what he had to say, and he mentioned in his interview that as a 7-year-old boy, he was just entranced by Yitzhak Perlman, the violinist. And I think it was Yitzhak Perlman's quote, "It feels that the violin is part of you and you are part of the violin. It feels like you are a part of the violin and the violin is a part of you." And that I think that was so inspiring to you. And you also said that, other Jewish violinists like Yehudi Menuhin and Isaac Stern were also very influential. So that's why I said we're not your first Jew. right?
No.
But I wondered if you wouldn't mind helping us understand this, and less on the work side and more on the creativity. And is artificial intelligence something that not just Jews, but humanity should be scared of, or is there some hope there?
I think there's a lot in between these two positions. That yes, there are things to be scared of, but we also look back on our history where we had to deal with technology in a variety of other forms. I think a good example is the combustion engine, also a black box, opaque to understanding from the outside, but boy, did it make things happen. But it wasn't great for the horses, or maybe it was, but it wasn't great for people who had horses, right? So in terms of employment, yeah, that changed. That was a game changer, as is AI. But getting away from the AI, the technology came, and then there was coordination technology that had to come in as a result. There was the Red Flag Act. I don't know if you're familiar with that, that if a car went over 15 miles an hour, that they had to be preceded with somebody on a horse with a red flag, right? So that was a kind of a halfway house. And there's a lot of transitioning going on right now. And so other positions will come up. And so, but from a human point of view, the question is, where are we going? Where are we going with our souls? Where are we going with our creativity? And now we're seeing with writing, like with Chat GPT and with musical programs that are producing music and lyrics, this is all being discussed.
It's being discussed. Is there a way for us to think about human-aligned artificial intelligence? Is there maybe not a fusion between humanity and robots, God forbid, but can machines be creative? Can we work in conjunction with them instead of seeing it as something that is in opposition to us?
Yeah, this was the origin of the institute, the Machine Intelligence Research Institute, which, as I mentioned to you, was founded in 2000 by Eliezer Yudkowsky. And it doesn't seem implausible to me. What he saw as a problem down the road was, hey, what's going to happen with artificial intelligence? What happens when it becomes unaligned with humans' goals? And I think I'm going on a limb here, but it doesn't seem implausible that his cultural origins caused him to think, what is the worst thing that could go wrong? And how do we plan for it? And so that's why he set up the institute. And so at the beginning, people said, oh, you're crazy. That's going to happen. If it happens, it's going to happen in hundreds of years' time. Then around 2015, people said, not so crazy, but it's still going to happen a long time away. And then around 2020, people said, oh, we're too late. Why didn't you start earlier? So we are working on that alignment issue and trying to have this, at least even people be aware that there is a problem. And I think that's been successful to a certain degree.
I wonder about it because I think maybe right now, if you've dabbled in this at all, it's like artificial intelligence 1.0, right? We're just at the very beginning of this. And I don't know, is anybody else uncomfortable about where we're headed? It feels a little bit like, am I going to end up, there actually was there's an article in a magazine called The Cut, and it was all about the AI bots that you can create to be in relationship with, and that people are creating bots that are their primary relationship in the world because it's much easier. Does anybody have in-laws? Okay, the bots don't have in-laws. And so you could be in control. You could be in control of almost anything in a virtual relationship. That makes me a little nervous as a rabbi because people are already just on screens and communicating this way. But I don't want to be shut down to the creative possibilities. Tell us a little bit about music and AI.
Well, we are running a song contest to very much explore this thing. Where are we with our relationship with technology via the creative aspect? And it's inspired by the Eurovision Song Contest. And as an Irish person and as a Jewish people, we know all about the Eurovision Song Contest. We know how to write really kitsch, really catchy songs that win this contest. And inspired by that, we thought, why don't we set up a contest where the songs are significantly contributed to by machines, probably AI. It's not to create a hit song, but it's to say, what's going on here? What's this collaboration between us and our technology? What does it look like? And how does it differ from, for example, the collaboration that we are having here on stage between humans with all this very, very intangible connection that's going on all the time to make this beautiful music that we're trying to make. It's plausible that doesn't happen with machines. It's plausible that you don't trust a machine, for example, to support you if you take a solo that you're not sure about. Whereas if I do that here on stage, I know Jordan's going to have my back. He'll do something that will make it make sense. Not so clear with machines, but maybe it's possible.
Well, is there a possibility that there won't need to be musicians anymore? There'll just be robots?
I think that's a possibility, but I think there'll be a lot of people who will want something far deeper than that to speak to their souls.
That's me.
Yeah.
That is me. How about you? Everybody else okay with with human creativity? So I brought you here today to allay our fears and also to give us your words of wisdom and an entry point into things that, for a lot of people, AI, artificial intelligence, seems very amorphous and something like sci-fi, but it's here and it's happening. So what I wanted to end with is, so go on the Cal Performance's website after Shabbat and look at illuminations. And actually, one of the conversations you were having was with our own congregants, Ken Goldberg, who is a UC Berkeley professor of robotics and AI. But I decided before I came tonight, I would ask, because we're Jewish and Cullum is Irish, that I would ask Chat GPT to come up with a limerick to end our conversation.
And I'm from a town called Limerick.
He's from a town called Limerick, no kidding. So first of all, thank you, Keturati, for bringing us Cullum, because I didn't have to write my sermon. I didn't have to do it on Chat GPT.
I mean, she's just like a student. She's at the last minute. She needs something here.
Well, but then I got helped out by Chat GPT. So you want to hear the limerick? Okay, so I asked for a limerick and a poem. Here's the limerick. There once was an Irish violinist so fine who played Jewish music, oh so divine. At the synagogue he'd play, bringing joy to each day. His music intertwined cultures, a rare find. That was the limerick. That was good, right? That was a robot. That was a robot. Then I asked more specifically to write a poem about an Irish violinist who a cantor in San Francisco in a Reformed congregation brought to play Shabbat music on Friday night. There once was an Irish violinist so neat who played with the cantor with a rhythmic beat. On Shabbat at the synagogue in San Francisco town, their music made the soul lift and the heart bound. Together they played with skill and heart, their music a work of art, their strings in tune, their music pure, their melodies a joy to endure. The cantor's voice soared with grace as the violinist's fingers danced with pace. Their music created a sacred space, a moment of beauty that time can't erase. Shabbat shalom. Thank you, Cullum.